Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Welcome to the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 67, coming to you from the desolate wastelands of Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're recording on Saturday, April 28th, and I am your host, Elric Edge. And with me today is...
Bill Costello.
How you doing, Bill?
I just noticed a problem with our intros, since we began.
Uh-oh. Well, what's that?
We're not coming from Albuquerque, we're coming from Rio Rancho.
Well, yeah.
We've lied.
That's a technicality.
You're right.
It'll never hold up in court.
And nobody will ever know where Rio Rancho is. Anyway,
That's
Albuquerque, at least
true.
they know that from the cartoons.
Well, Rio Rancho is where the Warhammer store is, though.
That's a good point.
It's on the map.
That's right. We are on the...
So, suck it, Albuquerque.
Oh, yeah, in a big way. Oh, my God, they can suck it. Anyway, so it's Sunday.
It is?
And it's the day of the South Coast GT.
Which day of the South Coast GT? It's a
Well,
two-day.
that would be the last day of the
All
South
right.
Coast GT.
It's not a Sunday-Monday event?
No, I think
Oh.
they actually turned that into a... No, I don't think there's a bank holiday, so yeah, they have to go back to work tomorrow.
Why didn't anybody do a Sunday-Monday event?
I don't know. Can't see any reason not to.
Yeah,
I'd just take a few days off work. What the hell?
sure.
Everybody's got two jobs. You can afford to lose one.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, throw a shout out to Jack Armstrong, who is the first two-time winner of the South Coast GT, and he won it back-to-back years. He won it last year, and he won it this year with Daughters of Cain.
Yeah.
It was a very enjoyable game to watch. He played Tony Moore in the finals. Two heavyweights like that going at it. It's kind of like a clinic on how to play Age of Sigmar.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it was a really great game. So, big shout out to those guys.
Daughters of Cain in first and second place.
Mm-hmm. And then, let me see, the full roundup was, you were just talking about this. Skaven took 3rd, 4th, 7th, and 9th.
Yeah.
So, Skaven are definitely a thing.
Yep.
And then you had a mixed order in 5th. Blades of Corn in
yeah.
6th. That was Mark Wildman. Then FEC, Flesh Eater Courts, came in 8th and 10th. Tony Moore dropped from playing for the win on table 1 to 10th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, so that was the whole top 10. Daughters of Cain, Skaven, a mixed order, and Flesh Eater Courts.
And a Blades of Corn.
Oh, yeah, and a Blades of Corn. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, Slanesh, with the old rules, placed 11th and 12th.
Yeah.
So they're
Right.
already decent, and they're
Right on
about
the
to
cusp.
get...
Yep.
Oh,
About to get
my
pretty nasty.
God.
So, that should be interesting to see how that pans out.
So, yeah, big shout out to Dan and Wayne, Heel and Hammer guys. Defunct podcast, Heel and Hammer.
Yeah.
But they obviously put on another great show. They had over 160 players. So, that's a big show.
Not bad at all.
No, very nice. Congrats to them, and hope everybody had a good time and gets home safe.
Yeah.
I guess a little more locally, we want to plug the Summertime Slaughter again. That's going to be going on July 27th through July 28th in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. You can look up the Summertime Slaughter on Facebook. And also the Bug Eater GT, which is coming up again. What was the dates of that one? Do you remember?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Well, we're going to have the TO on also, hopefully this week.
All right.
But that's out in Omaha, Nebraska. I believe it's also near the end of June. So,
Yeah, I believe so.
and in the big news department, should have an interview shortly with Alex from the Animosity Narrative Campaign. Anything else to hawk during the intro?
I don't believe so.
Let's
I don't believe so.
Shall we just roll into the new stuff?
Yeah.
All right.
Keep it rolling.
Rolling. That's what we say around here a lot because we're all cowboys and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like that.
We all herd cattle and, what have you.
Wow. Wow.
Not true? Okay.
All right.
So you want to talk about the big new drop from today?
Yeah. So I wonder if it was planned to drop today or because the artwork got dropped on accident yesterday.
By accident, yeah.
For Loon Curse, which is the new starter box.
Yeah, it looks like a box set for Age of Sigmar.
Yep.
Wow.
Pitting Gloomspite, more specifically Squigherd, against Sylvaneth.
Oh, yeah.
And it comes with the rule book in it and everything.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. So I'd imagine probably be about 160, 165, something like that.
Yeah,
I think
it's probably going to be in that range, but you're getting a lot of models, too. So.
Yeah, fantastic models.
Yeah.
And the new Loon Boss on a giant cave squig. All right.
And the Arch Revenant for Sylvaneth. So, nice to see Sylvaneth getting a little bit of love.
Yeah, great. Anyways, moving on. Nobody cares. No, I'm just kidding. No, that model looks unbelievable.
It does. It's
unbelievable.
Yeah. It's just over the top cool looking. But then again, so is the
Loon Boss.
Is the Squig model.
Yeah.
And it looks like you get quite a bit in the box. You're going to get some tokens, cards for everything. You got a core rule book, the little pamphlet thing, and then the Loon Curse book itself. Looks kind of like a Blight War, thing.
Or a Soul Wars box, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it looks like you get enough models to start an army, get a start on an army, plus probably play the scenarios that are in the Loon Curse book. So, definitely one of those value-added.
Yeah, 10 Squig Hoppers, 10 Squigs with a couple of herders, and then the Loon Boss on a giant cave squig, and then 3 Kurnoth Hunters, 10. Yeah, it's that dual kit that makes either one of them. And then that Arch Revenant, which is fantastic. I do have to say, I understand that it goes with the same paint scheme as those tree dudes.
Yeah.
It's like the spirits coming out of the trees. But ever since Night Hunt, I'm kind of tired of seeing that ghostly thing.
Paint, yeah.
And you had made a comment about if you painted those wings like a monarch butterfly.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to get one and do that. It's going to...
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I'm definitely interested to see other colors on that model. Real, vibrant fall or spring colors on it.
I think some of those people that have really crazy Sylvaneth already are going to be able to take that and just go over the top.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's a bad paint job on it.
No.
I think that scheme is a little tired.
Yeah,
at the moment.
it's well used.
Yeah.
So they need a different ethereal.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting box. So probably by the time this podcast drops, it'll be up for pre-order. So this is actually a pre-order for next week.
Oh, okay.
So
you want to guess on what the rules are for the Arch Revenant?
No, not really, because I don't know how they're going to go. They surprise you every time now.
Yeah.
It probably won't be as tough as a Tree Lord Ancient, but it'll be a damn sight better than everything else.
Yeah, he'll probably do damage 6, rend 3 on his spear, and summon trees, and cast 3 spells a turn, and have a 2-up save that can't be modified. And I don't know. But he'll be susceptible to mortal wounds.
Well, mortal wounds
obviously.
is the thing about Sylvaneth,
Got to
right?
balance it out.
Bitter much?
No. Just kidding.
Oh, that's funny. I don't know. My whole thing with the Sylvaneth is just those woods. Just the reliance on the woods, and so many of them.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what they change in the book with the new one. Is I don't really have so much of a problem with them anymore. Especially with everybody getting their own terrain and everything now. I think just the best thing they could do at a minimum is just streamline the way you get him out on the board is just the same regardless.
No matter what.
If this character does it, it has to be this distance from everything. And then if this character does it,
just streamline that whole thing and limit it.
Yeah.
Limit the numbers because it just gets silly.
Honestly, I think that book, if they just tidied it up.
Yeah.
And then brought it up to date a little bit so that, what are they called? Enclaves? I think for Sylvaneth, they're called enclaves. All the different factions within them. Their storm hosts and.
Yeah, no. Or what are the? Oh, God.
Something like that. If they give them the rules like they do for everyone else. Yeah. Because they have artifacts and spells and all that specific.
They need endless spells and a kind of a...
Oh, yeah, endless spells, too.
An overall view of command trait and command abilities, just like everybody else has got.
They really seem...
But it doesn't really need a rewrite.
Yeah.
so much.
That book seems like it would have been a really easy one to kick out already.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do it with this. With
Probably.
the
This is
Linkers,
probably... You got to figure they did the Sylvaneth group for Shadespire.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Or Underworlds, excuse me. Warhammer Underworlds. Now this new model's coming out. It's got to be an indicator that something's coming down the pike. I hope. Because, you know, Sylvaneth is one of those so amazingly well-realized armies that has just kind of fallen down.
Every time I
not.
I've always kind of had an issue with them, but every time I see them at an event, you know, when they're really well painted, it's like, damn, that army is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I forgot who it was that was saying it, but as long as you realize the same kind of theme through a whole Sylvaneth army, it's hard to paint them in a way that's not eye-catching and good-looking.
Right.
You know, obviously, if you just throw paint at all your different units and they all look weird. But, I mean, if you have James's Sylvaneth army was just gorgeous. He picked a theme and went through it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, everybody else we see up there, the North Colorado guys, got some beautiful Sylvaneth stuff. So, yeah, I'd like to see them make a comeback. Not that I want to see 17 freaking tree stands on the board, but hey. And, of course, hopefully this new hero will give the Gloomspite something to hang on to, because notably, one thing we didn't mention at the South Coast GT was in the top 12 any Gloomspite, and they're a reasonably new book.
Oh, yeah.
So, but like you said, there's just something missing.
Yep, I think so.
They don't have a synergy that puts them into the fray.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see that book at the top.
Yeah, not until they get something, just like you said, a little more synergy.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So, releasing, this weekend? Was this weekend all the Fyreslayer stuff? Or was it last weekend?
For pre-order? Or
no,
being
delivery.
Released? Yeah, so this week was the last of all the Fyreslayer stuff.
So all that stuff has hit the streets, and many, many Fyreslayer players are very, very happy.
Yep.
Because it's a pretty darn good book.
Yeah.
So.
I did notice, I can't believe it took me a while to notice this. There's no units of Magmadross like I thought there would be.
I know. I thought we heard a rumor that there was going to be units of Magmadross.
Yeah, that you could take them without characters on
the
back. But I guess, because Randy was talking about this in the chat, that the kit doesn't quite allow for that. Like there's gaps in the back or whatever where the characters are supposed to go.
Goes,
so you'd have to green stuff some bits or whatever. So yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Might have been an idea, but it had to go away.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Would have been cool. But I think they're still viable.
Oh, yeah.
With the characters, for sure.
And now I believe they're individual. They're what? They're heroes, but not leaders.
Oh, no. That's the Doomseeker and...
Right. Sorry.
Berserker.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. So you can take as many of those as you want.
Right.
And they can still have gear. They just don't count towards your leader cap.
Yeah, which is, kind of handy because people want them in droves.
Yep.
So.
Well, it's such a character-heavy army that it's hard to find slots for guys that are just going to run out there and fight. They don't really boost the rest of the stuff around them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so this weekend's pre-orders, was there any pre-orders?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, it's kind of a dead week.
Yeah, nothing really good. Sorry, Zach.
Yeah, Slaanesh stuff. Yeah. Wow, man. Just wow.
Over the top. I mean, just the reimagining of all these armies is crazy.
That's why I keep saying, can Seraphon and start from scratch and give them the AOS treatment.
Yeah.
From the ground up.
So.
It would look amazing.
I know. With what they can do now?
Oh,
my Lord. I still love the dinosaur motif. I mean, I still like...
Well, it would still be there.
All the monsters. It's just... The skinks are a little old. The Saurus...
Are just way too static.
Insert name here are... Wow.
Well, they're designed for a rank and file game. So they all have to be able to...
They're standing up straight and holding their weapons in...
Exactly. So everything kind of has to have a stoic look to it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get them
Yeah.
and a block.
On a movement tray.
But now we don't have to worry about that. So you can make them as crazy as you want.
And boy, if they're just going to be dreebs, they could be crazy.
Yep.
So, but yeah, the Slaanesh stuff, that Keeper Secrets, holy.
Yeah. Yeah, that Keeper Secrets model. I've always been a big fan of the Bloodthirster. It's like always been one of my. It's always been my favorite of the Greater Demons. But yeah, that new Keeper really, really trying to push for the top spot.
It is, well, thematically, of course, it's just gorgeous. The whole army put together is just crazy cool.
Yeah.
But each individual model, like that terrain piece, is just holy Jesus. When you get some good painters doing that, it's going to be over the top. I mean, some people are going to realize that thing in crazy, crazy ways. I can't wait to see what's done and the detail in these models.
Yeah.
God.
Yep.
They kind of make Marathi, which is probably one of the best models they've ever done.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, she could, yeah.
You think?
She's a girl.
Oh, I don't know about that, man. Marathi's like...
It is
fantastic.
It is crazy over the top good, but all this stuff, that Keeper is...
Yeah.
Wow. And of course, they play really, really well. The thing that I was really interested in seeing when they dropped all the scrolls and let everything out of the bag for the pre-order, the points did go up significantly on a lot of things. So they're going to balance. That army is strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was it that was playing that test game on Saturday with the new War Scrolls? And they just set up a battle between the Keeper and the Bloodthirster just to see. And it went through the Bloodthirster like...
Well, so. Bloodthirsters have always been pretty underwhelming.
They're underwhelming, but they can punch. They can punch above their weight. The problem is they can't take it.
Yeah, yeah. Ever since, was it like 2nd edition 40K and 5th edition Fantasy when they were 10s across the board?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when they were terrifying.
They were, crazy.
Not so much anymore.
But, again, the Keeper has a, 4-up save? So...
Yeah.
It's killable, too. You can shoot that thing down, but if you're the corn guy who it's made to go beat up, well, it sucks to be you. Yeah, they have some really, really interesting rules. The only thing that I don't like is the deal where they can keep you from doing your command traits and spending your command points. That just smacks to me again of, I get to play with my toys, you can't play with yours. But
yeah, but we'll still got to wait and see, because you said the same thing about the anti-spell aspect of Khorne.
And that just turned out to be really cool. And same, I'm sure this will be the same thing.
Yeah.
It'll be one of those deals where certain things have to work right. In order for that to happen, it's not just going to be an across the board, I stop you. Yeah. But that's, Slaanesh is... if you're into that stuff, first of all, probably should seek professional help. But second of all, this is a great time to be you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of envious. It's just like when all that Nurgle stuff was dropping.
Oh, yeah.
Like, man, what a time to be alive for Nurgle players.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
So,
I've been looking over there longingly at my Blight Kings that I still have not painted for my Nurgle army yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, once I finish all this death stuff and I look at the mound of death stuff that I have to redo.
Yep.
So, yeah, well. Maybe the store will do another Escalation League after this is done, and I can bluff my way into that one with
just keep
painting
knocking
Blight
out
Kings.
Yeah, keep knocking out Escalation Leagues.
Yeah, it's a great way to motivate yourself to do stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So on to some other things. I finally finished listening. I didn't read them. I listened to the 2 kids' books, the Lifestone.
Oh, okay.
And
the young adult novels?
Young adult
there you
novels.
Go. Okay.
Thank you. And I got to tell you, they're really good.
Yeah?
They are
Of
really...
course they're going to be good. Man.
They're really well done.
I don't understand why they wouldn't be.
No. There was no reason that they should have been bad, but I was really impressed with how they pulled it off. And I was talking to Chad last night. Chad came over, and his son, when they were at the store, actually wanted, I think, the Lifestone book.
Okay.
And he went through it, and he loved it. And
Sweet.
he's the target market
Yeah.
for that stuff. And he was like, I can't wait for the next one. When does the next one come out?
Nice.
So, yeah, that's, it made Chad's little heart sing there.
That's awesome.
That's what you want. And I got to tell you, they're written, it's young adult fiction. There's no bones about it. But the story is engaging. The plot is deep. It's not just the kids are so cool and they got to do this and this and this, and they're actually wizards before they've ever trained. No, they're at the appropriate skill levels for the teenagers that they are, but they still manage to find a way to win through stuff. So,
nice.
And they've got me really wanting the next 2 books. So,
nice.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
Kudos to Black Library for doing that up.
I gave the sample book, the one that had the 2 short stories,
back
one for
back,
40K. Yeah. I gave those to my son to read. And, it turns out if it doesn't have anything to do with Fortnite, he's just not interested.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
okay.
Unfortunately, that didn't pan out for me.
Oh, damn.
Yep.
Well, what are you going to do?
So, if anybody at GW is listening and you want to just print money more so than you already are, just come up with a dumb battle royale video game.
Yeah.
And you'll never have to make another model again.
Yeah. You'll just pretty much switch to digital.
Yeah. And just sit back and watch the Muppets hand you their money. Anyways.
Fortnite fan much?
Oh, God.
I hated that game when it first came out, and nothing has changed my mind about it, because you could see from the day it rolled out, this was just a way to separate people from their money.
Yeah, which, I get is what games are kind of designed to do, but
yeah.
Damn.
But actually, this is so over the top. What are you buying? I'm buying a spray.
Yeah.
Okay, you go. Wow, but it has a really deep story. Yeah. Yeah, that's really deep.
Yeah, except it's not the kid that's buying the spray, it's my wallet.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways.
Okay. Boy, are we getting cranky old?
Yeah.
All right, anyway. So I just wanted to mention that if you're at all into The Hobbit, the Middle-earth strategy battle game, I read the Battle Company's book last night.
Yeah.
I got it yesterday, and oh my God, is it cool. I went back to the store and bought a box of Minas Tirith Warriors and said, okay, here's my new Battle Company. Because it's just...
we got to make that happen. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm going to build up a couple of war bands and we're going to play that. So looking at the way the war bands are structured, almost all of them start with between 6 to 8 models. The goblins from Goblin Town start with 12, but 10 of them are goblins.
Okay.
Which, are incredibly easy to paint.
Yeah.
So all of them look really fun. And they've taken and made all of this is designed for a campaign. It's not designed for, one-off games.
Really?
Yeah, it's really focused on a campaign sort of idea, because after the battle, you roll for your injured guys. You roll for, see if they live or die or what have you. And then you get varied amounts of points to spend to upgrade people. And you start upgrading the members of your warband until they become a thing. And you're limited to 1 leader, 2 sergeants, and then the rest are just troops. But an individual, if you already have a leader and 2 sergeants, and a guy from the ranks promotes to hero status, he just becomes a regular hero. And of course, if a sergeant dies or a leader dies, he can move up. But he could just be sitting there hanging out in your warband as a hero with the points for it. So it's really a great way of doing things, and it's going to make for some great fun skirmish games.
I'm geeked.
Yeah, it's
so excited to play that.
Very cool. Like I said, I'm going to build up. You tell me what force you want, and I'll see if I have it. But I'm definitely doing at least a Rohan warband. Definitely Minas Tirith.
Yeah.
And I think I can definitely put together some Caradrim. Caradrim.
Haradrim.
I'm mixing my games now.
Yeah. They don't have Olifants in the sky.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
It would be cool. But yeah, I can do definitely Moria, definitely Goblin Town, definitely Isengard Orcs.
Ooh,
so yeah, it's okay. Off of that now, because this is not that kind of podcast.
It will be.
It will be.
It will be. No. Doesn't mean we can't drool over it here and there, though.
Yeah,
the models are unbelievable.
They're great, and the rules are so streamlined now. It's a much more approachable game.
Yeah.
So hats off to them for all that stuff. And then I want to talk about a game I picked up. I pre-ordered. This is the product of the WizKids and GW license agreement. This is called The Rise and Fall of Anvalor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've looked through it.
Briefly, as I had absolutely no idea it was a thing until I saw the box on your table.
And see, this is something that I wanted. Here is an Age of Sigmar branded game. Right on the very top of that box is the Warhammer Age of Sigmar logo.
Yep.
And if you were not watching the licensing preview show, I don't know if they've advertised it anywhere else inside the GW.
Was it previewed on was it the Essex thing they did on the community site?
Yeah.
Did they show it there maybe?
I believe they showed it during either the Gamma or the game show or the Spiele one over there in Germany. I know in one of the big splash shows they talked about it, but
yeah,
it got its typical paragraph and then they moved on.
Huh.
And now, granted, it's not, this is not the board game that's going to swing tens of thousands of people into playing Age of Sigmar, but it looks like a very cool game. It's getting pretty decent reviews. It's not knocking down Scythe or Gloomhaven or anything in the board game community, but it looks really, really cool. And I think hopefully we're going to play it one of these evenings.
Definitely.
Get Andrew and maybe Chad over here and we'll play a 4-player game.
Yeah.
It plays 1 through 4 players. From what I hear, the solo game is very, very hard to win because things just start getting out of control too fast. And without 2 players, you can't put enough stuff on the board to save you from the wave of oncoming nasties. But one of the beauties of the game is you get 6 good factions and 3 evil factions. And you're only going to play with 1 evil faction during any game. And, of course, the number of good factions is determined by how many players you have.
Right.
But there's also attribute cards that you can take for each faction that will slightly change how they play. So there's a ton of replayability in the game. You're probably never going to play the same game twice. Even when you run out of those combinations of the 6 good and the 3 bad guys.
Yeah.
They have things that will modify how they play in every game also. So it's going to become logarithmic.
Well, and it also seems like the kind of game that's open for expansions.
Oh, yeah. They could throw a pack together real quick.
Yep.
To add new stuff to it. And really, most of the reviews I saw and most of the videos all say the game takes about an hour and a half for the first game because, you're still learning. But it does play fast, which is really what you want in a Beer and Pretzels game.
Yeah.
To get people kind of hooked on your world. So
I want to point out that there's 6 factions that you can play as, which are Fyreslayers and 2 different Stormcast hosts, and then Dispossessed, Free Peoples, and
Fyreslayers.
No, the Darkling Coven.
Oh, well, yeah, Order Serpentis, yeah.
Order Serpentis. Yeah. All of which are like old school armies, which I thought is really interesting that they would push that older stuff like that.
There's a smattering of the new and old in there.
Yeah. Which I think is really cool. Obviously, I love all 3 of those factions, but there's no Sylvaneth or Quadrant Overlords or some of that new stuff.
Well, again, like you said, this is WizKids, and they are not foreign to putting out expansions.
Right,
So,
right.
as long as this sells reasonably well, I believe there will be expansions for it.
Well, I'm all for it. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So.
Yep. I like that. I like the thought of it.
All right.
Should we take a break real quick?
Yeah, we can jump into a break.
Okay, good deal. So we're back from discussing religion, politics, Trump is Archeon,
Yeah.
and a few other things. It's amazing how we devolve when the sound turns off.
Yeah. If only we recorded that stuff.
Mm-hmm. As we consumed wavy lays and lots of salsa and ranch dip.
Yeah.
So.
And Monster.
Yeah, and a monster. So we're ready to go.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I built a...
Yeah. I need teepee for my butthole.
I love it. Missed that show. Oh,
yeah.
man. I started, hobby-wise, I started making a building, or finished starting making a building and got some actual paint on it, so it's got a long ways to go, but I'm trying to do my old little temple there.
Nice. It looks good.
It's getting there. I got to do the brickwork and all that stuff. It's just the Azurite ruins made into, longer sections so it can have some enclosed area and give some terrain benefit.
Nice. I like the tile floor.
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
That was really, I painted it white, and then I used some of the Minotaur transparent paints, airbrushed them on, the greens and the blues. And then to get the gold part of the marble, I just haphazardly went in there with, I believe it was Auric gold or Relictor. It wasn't the real bright one. It wasn't the new gold, because that would have been too bright.
Yeah.
And this is supposed to look really, really old. But then it looked really horrible when it was there. But then hit it with a Seraphim sepia wash.
Yeah.
To give it that brownish tile, that marble tile look. So it looks okay. I like some of the different ways of doing marble that I've seen lately that are coming out that I really, really want to try. But if I had done that on this one, I would have had to do it before I glued the wall pieces on.
Oh, okay.
Because it's, for a template for the marble, you use one of those, I think they're like baby wipes, but you let it dry out and you start pulling it at the edges. And so the fibers separate, but not completely. And then you can use that as a mask for airbrushing the blues and the greens of your marble, or whatever color marble you want. And it gives that effect of marble.
Really?
The marble look. Yeah, you hit it with a really dark gray or a really light gray, and then progressively darker with different sheets. And it will have that look of, because it's very filmy. That mask is very filmy. Yeah. So it makes it look really cool, a lot like real marble. And the guy that I saw it on his website it was amazing, but I haven't been out to buy baby wipes, whatever it was he suggested, because not all of them work that way. They don't all pull apart with the tendril, with the fiber staying connected the way it does. Huh. So,
okay.
Yeah, I really want to try that on the next one. I think I'm going to do it on the Middle Earth terrain, just to see.
Nice.
And I started on my Thorns of the Briar Queen, because that dovetails right into last night played Midwest Chad in a game of Shadespire, because he's wanted to learn Shadespire really ever since the original Underworlds came out.
Yeah.
And but he had gotten off on the wrong foot with the game, and it didn't really hit him in the feels place right away. Yeah. So we played last night, and I think he went home with a much different thought, because he was talking about painting war bands and getting new cards and doing all this stuff. So nice. Yeah, he had a grand time. It was a teaching game, but it was a lot of fun. We had a blast just sitting here Saturday night talking AOS and playing Underworlds. It's fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, because it's never been a game I've been interested in, but with that new KO faction coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I might have to check it out.
They are.
You might have to give me that treatment too, because I didn't really get into it in the beginning either.
It's so much fun, and there's a good group that plays over there at the Warhammer store.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of fun, and really once you know the game, you're talking maybe an hour. You can, when you're good at it, you can knock these things out in a half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, if you're just, once you get used to your warband and how they play and you've got a deck that you like.
Yeah.
And what I like is it has that deck building aspect, but it also has that tactical aspect of how do you actually use the guys on the board, because I played Thorns of the Briar Queen and they're not easy. They blow over in a stiff breeze, especially against, he played the original Khorne, the
Reavers.
the
or
Reavers, yeah, Garrick's Reavers.
Yeah.
And those guys hit like a freight train, and they kill a chain rasp every time they hit them. So, and the only way I get to inspire is to start my activation next to one of his guys, which means I've had to go through his phase where he can just hit me and kill me.
Oh, yeah.
So it's you have to really plan how you're going to do things, but there's also a lot of movement shenanigans with the Thorns. That's very nice. So
Cool.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll go through it one of these times, and I picked up the Caradron Overlord box this weekend.
Oh,
So,
sweet.
yeah, I'll get those put together and maybe get at least a little bit of paint on them so that you can take them for a test drive.
Absolutely.
So, but that was about it for all the little stuff. What we were going to do now was we wanted to talk a little about the GW survey,
Yeah.
which hopefully everybody listening to this has taken. But we kind of want to go over it a little bit. What were your thoughts, Sa?
Wow. That's a really in-depth survey.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Way bigger than last year's.
Yeah.
And I didn't even do all of it because it was broken up into sections based off the games you played.
Right.
So obviously I don't play Underworlds, so
Sure.
I didn't even
You
do
didn't
that
hit that,
part. I didn't do the Warhammer Quest part. And I think maybe there was another one for maybe Middle Earth.
Yeah, there was a Middle Earth section.
Yeah.
Yep.
There might have even been another one. And so I basically just did the 40K and the AOS ones.
Yeah.
And even those were like,
It was in depth.
yeah, it was fairly time consuming. So I'd imagine somebody who did every individual part of that was taking that survey. Yeah. How long did that survey take you? Maybe like 30 minutes?
At least, I would say, because I made a lot of comments and I tried to expand on what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was easily a half hour that afternoon when I came home.
Yeah.
Easily, probably more like 45 minutes because I'm not super fast.
Wow.
So-
Okay. Yeah. So, which I think is awesome.
Oh,
It
yeah.
would have been nice if maybe they had warned you a little bit.
Yeah.
Like this is going to set aside X amount of time potentially. 'Cause, yeah, last year's was kind of like not really vague, but it was more of like, what are some things you enjoy and what do you think we should do next?
Right.
Which kind of opened up that whole everybody saying Sisters of Battle.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing to see.
Right.
And, and they listened to us. And there was some of that for this as well, but they really wanted some specific information
Yes.
about certain aspects of each individual game they put
Yes.
out, which I thought was really cool. Hopefully everybody gave them the information they need for them to make their next choices, obviously.
Yeah, I noticed there was a big event focus in this one.
Yeah, that too.
But also the way they broke down each game system, and they kind of twigged and they pulled at the strings, sort of the outlying strings of, what's good, what's bad.
Uh-huh.
But more along, it gave you an idea of what their sense of what's right and wrong is.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, one of the questions in the Age of Sigmar section was, what do you think about the double turn mechanic?
Yep.
And I mean,
Which made me nervous.
that has
That
come
they
up
just-
so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
makes me
it's-
wonder, because you hear about it all the time, but I wonder how much of it is, it's just a handful of people that keep bitching about it so much.
Yes.
That, and of course, it brings that conversation up all the time.
All the time.
So it makes you feel like a lot of people have an issue with it. But I wonder if it's just a kind of like with anything, any kind of social issue or whatever you see on the internet, if it's just a handful of people, but they all have an equal voice thanks to Twitter or social media, it makes you think there's so
Yeah.
many more so many more people with the problem.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this is just,
I think it really is to either reinforce their thought that it might need change or to convince them once and for all that no, this is...
yeah, it would be nice if they kind of release that information. They're like 92% of people say they love it. And really, it's only this small percentage that says no. So guess what? It's here to stay.
I think in terms of some of those specific questions, they will release,
On the community site.
It will kind of, I don't think they're ever going to do, here's the results of the survey.
All the data, yeah.
Because really, this thing was a marketing survey. This was, what do we make next? How do we hit your wallet?
Yeah.
So,
because there was stuff in there about
them.
Faction-specific terrain, and there was all kinds of little questions like that.
Yeah, and they really wanted to nail down what people thought about how things are going now. I think a couple of shows ago I talked about, how Alex up there at Garage Hammer had talked about he doesn't like this proliferation of terrain. Mm-hmm. And he brought up some really, really good points about why. And I think they want to get to know if that's a real thing or not, if that really is out there in the community, that all this terrain, this faction terrain is kind of gimping or putting a twist on people. I don't think it is. I think we agree that as long as it doesn't get too big.
Yeah, as long as you keep the shipwrecks or whatever and like loon shrines to a minimum.
Yeah.
But, make them more like... it's some really good ones. The
feculent gnarl maw.
Yeah, the feck maw is good.
But the problem is you can put multiple, I always carry 4 of those with me with my Nurgle army.
Yeah.
Because, you get the one, you're probably going to put down a couple more.
Potentially. I think the Bray Stone or whatever it is, the Herd Stone is a great one. Because I thought that was a much larger piece of terrain than it actually is.
Right.
And, it's thematic. It gives some good bonuses, but it's not so big that it can potentially detract from a table.
Right.
Rules, if you got a problem with the rules, that's different.
Yeah.
Because rules can change. They can be modified or whatever. It's the physical terrain piece that's
the footprint.
Yeah. So something like, I can understand why people may not be a fan of the Loon Shrine.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty massive.
It's a big thing.
Or the trees for Sylvaneth, because you put so many of them down.
Yeah.
And it's the same terrain piece as just generic terrain as well. So
I'm wondering if when they do Sylvaneth over, if they don't come out with a faction-specific type of woods
and then validate all the trees that people already.
No, I think the casting and the bringing in woods will still use those, or maybe they've run that mold.
Maybe
out
some
of
big ass tree of life thing they put down.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be pretty sweet. So something like the size of a Durthu or Tree Lord Ancient.
Yeah.
But it's not a mobile tree.
Right. Ooh, that could be crazy.
Yeah.
But I can see where they want to get that kind of feedback, because really until I heard Alex talking about it, I had never thought that there was even a dissenting opinion about these things. I thought just people thought they were cool across the board.
I think really the only negative that I heard was, Andrew was kind of making a point. And I think his wasn't that he disliked them. I think it was that he was frustrated that Stormcast don't have endless spells or terrain. And they got like a book just before that stuff started happening. So it's like,
that means, guess
how
what?
long is it going to be until they do get them?
Well, they have the comet.
They do have endless spells.
They do have them.
They just didn't get a terrain piece.
Right, they didn't get a terrain piece.
So, I don't know. Don't worry, they'll get 3 more books by the end of the year.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's obviously, I changed my socks, so there's a new book coming.
Yeah.
So, kidding. God.
But yeah, it's interesting because you could say they could just take information based off of sales as to what's successful or not.
Right.
But this is them going the extra mile.
Yeah.
And really getting that personal touch to combine with the sales and say what's successful and what's not.
Well, I think one of the things they learned last year in the survey was there's a lot of people like me out there that are collectors that are going to buy these things no matter what when they come out.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that there's 5,000 people playing Nurgle right now. It just means there's a lot of people buying the Nurgle stuff, maybe for the future or maybe just to have it. But I think they really wanted to get a good feel this time for what are your hobby goals? What are you after? There were very few questions specifically about what faction do you think needs to be fixed? I don't even think that was in there.
No, and I don't think you would ever open that up. Because you can just have a handful of your employees browse Twitter and WhatsApp
and you'll
kind of
see that.
cherry pick some feedback based on that.
Yeah, they don't really need that. And of course, like you say, that you would get the answers that you get from a question like that would be almost meaningless because that usually comes from a place of fervent passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a Seraphon player. I want to see some new Seraphon. Damn it. You're an Iron Jaws guy. You want to see some new Iron Jaws. Damn it.
Yeah.
So, that's not a valid, valuable research question to ask. But they did ask a lot of those nebulous questions that will help them sort of focus on, what do you like about what's happening now? What do you like about these scenery pieces? What do you not like? So, and then of course, like you said at the beginning, the event focus was holy hand grenade. They wanted to know a lot about events.
Yep. From
what you go to, and they named a lot of the big ones by name, which I thought was none of them. I mean, yes, some of them were Warhammer Fest and the heats and the stuff at Warhammer World, but there was AOS, there was LVO. I think even Bay Area Open was in there. There was South Coast GT. There was Nova. There was all these events by name. What do you like about this? What do you not like about it? And I'm sitting there going, what are you going to use that for? Are you going to feed that to the organizers of those events?
It does make you wonder if they're going, or Games Days.
The events, yeah.
Yeah, if they might be bringing back Games Days.
I really think there's I don't want to say this out loud too much.
Say it.
But there was an effort to get a Games Day going last year here, and it just didn't fall into place because of the opening of the Citadel and all that stuff.
Here in Albuquerque?
No, not here. But here.
I'm sorry, Rio Rancho. Now that the cat's out of the
Games
bag.
Day at Bill's house. Yeah. Okay, sure. Everybody in my garage. Come on. All 100,000 of you.
We could do it.
Yeah.
If you build it, they will come.
There you go. As soon as I hit that lottery, I will build a megaplex for gaming.
Oh, man. Wouldn't that be glorious?
Wouldn't it? Oh, man.
Play Warhammer on a zip line. What? But they've, with the Citadel thing, for sure.
Yeah.
It shows that they are taking a greater interest, I guess, in expansion. I don't know how I want to phrase this. Maybe they want to get back to where they were doing Games Days, and I don't know about battle bunkers or anything like that, but having that similar presence, but doing it in a much more controlled fashion instead of riding that Lord of the Rings bubble that happened, and then they kind of imploded a bit. So it seems like now they kind of want to get back to that, but and like I said, a much more controlled.
Yeah, I think with all those event questions, they're definitely fishing for what's the best out of the big three in America and the big events over there in Europe, England.
Yeah.
Because there were pointed questions about, do you like the format? Do you like this format? What kind of format would you want to see at an event? Do you want to see narrative? Do you want to see open play? Do you want to see
team games?
Yeah, team
stuff like
match
that.
play. And I'm like, wow, they are really digging. They want to put an event on their own. And honestly, when you look at how incredibly large LVO is now, 800 players doing 40K. 200, almost 200 players doing Sigmar. And roll right into Adepticon where you have similar numbers, except they're capped because of space. They didn't have the opportunity to expand. They very well may one day, and I guarantee you they'll fill it up.
Yeah. Well, they also have the second largest team event.
Yeah. No, the largest team event.
No, the ATC, the American Team Championship is
bigger?
Oh, yeah. Insanely bigger, I believe.
Oh, I thought they said that it was the biggest team event ever.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the ATC is like bananas level attendance.
Well, I mean, even still, they see how much money there is to be made at these events.
Yeah.
Nova always sells out. Adepticon sells out. LVO sells out.
Yeah.
And usually within hours.
Minutes in some cases.
Yeah, literally minutes for Nova and
Adepticon.
I think the only one that had a long-term thing was LVO because 800 people they had slots for.
Well, and they kept putting soft caps.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, we blew past that, so we'll dedicate more of the room to it. Put this soft cap. Oh, wow. It just keeps going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they can see that there's a market here in America to make money.
Yeah.
And if they made a marquee event, people will go and you will get that press coverage. You will get people covering your event.
Could you imagine the announcements they would do at their own event where they're not competing
with anything.
With all those other games? It's just a huge GW event.
Mm-hmm.
A few hundred people there just for their games.
Yeah. It would be crazy.
Oh, man.
And they could literally rule the roost, and they could hand pick vendors, outside vendors, to come in, people that they don't feel are going to be, they could bring in the guys from Table War and Battle Foam because they're not really in super direct competition. Yeah, they have cases, but,
right.
That market I don't think is what they're counting on in the next year, but they can bring in, airbrush people and you name it.
Yeah. Well, and they could have an actual Forge World presence again.
Sure.
Because that wasn't really a thing I felt at LVO.
Yeah.
It was more of just here's a handful of exclusive models, and then if you want to order something, you can.
We'll ship it to you free.
Yeah. And it's like, no, I kind of I'm here for the impulse buy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what they need. But again, having the store in Grapevine does allay a lot of that because they have the full stock Forge World.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot. That was my impulse buy.
Yeah.
Hey, kid, you want a Thunderhawk?
Yup. Still waiting for you to crack that thing open, Bill.
Oh, God, I so want to.
Slap some red and black paint on it.
Oh, joy to the world.
Oh, we got to go back to playing 40K.
I know. God.
I got such an itch.
Mm-hmm.
Such an itch to do it.
Yep. Some of the other things in the survey were just, I was a little freaked out by the double turn question being very, very pointed and very forward.
Yeah.
What do you think of this mechanic?
Do you like it? Do you not?
Mm-hmm. But then there were questions on all the other systems, but the event focus was, wow. Oh my God.
What did you put for, what would you like to see going forward? On the more open-ended question.
I actually did like a fanboy response.
Uh-oh.
It was one of those, everything you're doing is over the top amazing. And I kind of think that what I want to see going forward is more of what you're doing now. Because I can't think of really, other than, mindless, oh, you could redo BCR and you could do Seraphon over, and,
Yeah.
I mean, they know this stuff. They know this stuff has to happen. This isn't feedback they need. I couldn't really think of anywhere to go to say, hey, you should do a race of snake people or something just out there. I mean, and I thought I was being truthful at the time, is keep licensing your stuff to other places and see what sticks. Because honestly, I don't think a lot of the outside licensing stuff, except for the digital games, has worked real well. I'm hoping that one of these days, the Battle for Ultramar, the WizKids dice game, the Munchkin. I love that. Assault on Blackreach or Heroes of Blackreach. Keep doing that stuff. Something's going to stick one of these days, and it's going to go big.
So basically, you just had a real ball washing moment.
I pretty much did. Yeah.
No, I think that's completely accurate.
I think at one point I said, Pete, please be my friend on Facebook.
Yeah. It's supposed to be anonymous, Bill.
That's why he didn't friend me yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I definitely think the board game stuff, because it allows them to not burn calories at GW on that stuff. And while they did do some cool things like Gore Chosen, Lost Patrol, and some stuff like that, which allows you to play a different game with the models you have, which is cool.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. And I'm sure they'll keep putting little things like out. They will keep putting things like that out there.
Yeah.
It can just be like little side projects, little things for like, we're going to hire a new games developer, come up with an idea. Cause I know that's what they do. Yeah. And they could say, well, actually this is really good. And we'll make an actual game of it.
Well, that's how we got Warhammer Underworlds was, it was a pet project.
Yeah.
So And
So-
look at what that turned into.
Yeah, which is really cool. So, but then they could have the really in-depth board games done by companies who do really in-depth board games.
Yep.
Yeah, I think my response was very similar, but more towards the digital side of. I'd really like to see you guys put your IP out there for, I kind of like what they've done so far, but I'm sick of the microtransaction mobile game nonsense.
Yep.
I want them to see them do something much bigger.
Yeah.
And obviously they can't. They have to be approached by an Activision or somebody like that so that we can get a, maybe a Skyrim-esque Age of Sigmar game or something like that. That's got to come from a major developer. But, the only way that's going to happen is if they get out there and start courting some of those companies with their IP. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's the truth. I would love to see, Total War Sigmar instead of, Total War
the old
Warhammer
world stuff. Yeah.
I mean, it's great. The game is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it, but let's have, and there's a lot of lead time that goes into a game like that. And maybe it's in the works. We don't know.
Well, okay. So Age of Sigmar has been a thing for 2.5, 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
Most major titles take 5 to 8 years.
Yeah.
So we could have another 10 years to go.
It could be. I mean, yeah. But I would still love to see it.
Yeah.
And but I think we said the same thing except aiming at different crowds.
Yeah.
So,
just keep throwing your IP out there. You guys run with what you're doing now because obviously it's working.
Yeah.
And then just let the other companies play with your IP and have fun with it. And
it's you look at how much gaming has increased over the last few years. All it takes is a trip over to Board Game Geek and to see those numbers from where they were to where they are and read the different articles about record sales for WizKids, record sales for all these different major game companies. And the little guys are doing incredibly well too. And there's a market out there. There is a huge market out there for family style, I hate to say it, but Euro style games.
Yeah.
And just every one of those you put out, sure, some of them are going to miss. Some of them are going to hit. And when they miss, it doesn't cost you a penny because somebody else put their stuff on the line.
Pretty
for
much.
That.
I mean,
so, and again, like we said before, here's this game, The Rise and Fall of Anvalor, which is branded Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
And I really wonder how many people that are deep in with the, with the community site and deep into the GW stuff don't know it's even out there because I've not seen it advertised anywhere on the GW streams. And I don't know why I don't know why that is. I don't know what the retail reason is. I'm sure they have a reason for not hawking these things.
Well, I know they've gotten a lot better about it, putting this kind of stuff in White Dwarfs. Because there was a point in time where, like, they didn't promote any of their stuff unless it came directly from them. It didn't matter how.
GW flagship. Yeah.
And then they kind of started putting a little bit, like, I think the big one was the game you were just talking about.
Underworlds?
No, the computer game. Total War.
Oh, Total War, yeah.
And they had like an article about Total War. It's like, really? This is like one of the biggest computer games to come out in quite a while, and you're just barely going to make a nod towards it. And they've progressed to the point where I haven't, full disclosure, I haven't looked in a White Dwarf in quite some time, but there was a point in time where like the first couple pages were just, here's our IP being used by other companies. Keep an eye out for all of this cool stuff that's coming out. So. Well,
they are getting better at that. They're capturing the Cubicle 7 guys with the role-playing games. They're actually interviewing them. I think a lot more of it comes out in the community when they do those licensing previews. And sometimes they'll just have blocks of that segment, 15-minute blocks, dedicated to one of the new things coming out, which is really good because it's got to get it out there. But how many people aren't on Twitch that never hear about this stuff until they see a blurb in the White Dwarf or, it hits the game store. I only knew about this game because of the the licensing preview show.
Why do they not have an official Twitter account that promotes, like, this is what's coming up on the Twitch stream.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to talk about. It just does nothing but hype their stuff. It doesn't need, they don't need to have that account answer rules questions and all this other nonsense. Just hype stuff so that it's out there.
So it gets out there.
Your rabid followers are going to retweet the crap out of it.
Yeah. Well, that's when we got to the community section of the survey, I did say that, I like the lineup you have now. I think Wade is a fantastic presenter for both the podcast and the show. He's really involved. He's really good. And he knows how to be just polarizing enough without being, well, okay, except when it comes to corn. But that man is serious. But, I mean, they got a really good mix now. But they do need a better outreach for flagship stuff. I know you have a Facebook page and you think that's where the heat is, but you need to be on the Twitters. You need to be on the Instagrams. They do have a pretty good Instagram page.
Yeah.
But you need to be hawking that stuff more. And I understand their community team is probably pretty maxed out, especially now that Nick left. Maybe they need to bring in a few more people. And I think I saw some jobs for the community team.
Oh, nice.
So hopefully they will have a larger Twitter presence and a larger, I think the Facebook site is doing pretty damned awesome. Whoever's writing those responses needs to get a raise because, my God, some of that stuff is so classic.
Yeah.
Love them. But yeah, I did tell them that they needed to be a little more forward thinking in that whole social. And it takes a while to get going. It takes a while to feel your way around. I think one of their big fears is a misstep on social media these days costs you a lot.
Yeah.
But honestly, the thing is you're kind of feminism proof, racist proof, as long as you're just talking about your games and you're not going into politics.
Well, I don't know. Look at that Cawdor model or whatever it was for that skirmish game, Necromunda.
Oh, yeah?
The guy that had the hood on and nooses for his necklace.
Oh, boy.
And all the candles. You know, it was such a fantastic looking model. And then somebody was like, I don't know, man, that's not cool. And they took it down.
Oh, jeez.
And never going to release it. And it's like, really?
Wow.
Really? That is what crossed the line for you.
But
you obviously have not been paying attention to literally anything this company's been doing for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
But good on you. You snuffed that one out.
Yeah. You win.
Yep.
Yay. You're a success now. Well, I'm a community organizer, and I say, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was kind of we waxed a long time on the survey. That was interesting. Yeah. But there was a lot to be digested there. So, gave you kind of an interesting glimpse as to where you can kind of read into the questions and read what their sort of thoughts going forward are. So,
you think we'll get any big announcement like we did Sisters of Battle?
I don't think so. Not from this one, although I think the effects of this one are going to be felt more longer down the line. I
think if anything, we'll see them announce an event.
Yeah, a
big event. Based off your responses, here we go.
States. Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And for the people who are like, well, what about Australia? Well, Australia is not real. That's a lie perpetrated by NASA. So it doesn't exist.
It does lie beyond the border of the flat Earth.
Yep.
So
that's why GW does not pay attention, because GW is in the know.
Well, and if you look at it, why are the prices in dollars so much higher in Australia? Because they know nobody orders that stuff.
Yep.
So it's just like a placeholder for the other, countries that come later.
Yeah.
Well, here goes another 4 listeners. So we're down to 3 now. And by the way, we're sorry, AOS short stand. So we didn't mean any of that. Another thing we were going to do was, now that Fyreslayers is out, we want to take another swipe at the lore of Fyreslayers.
Yeah.
Or Duarden.
Duarden.
All put. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, and like we said back in the intro, I think now we're going to move on to relooking at the lore of the Duarden in light of the new Battle Tome, the new Fyreslayers Battle Tome that came out. Again, I have to say, This book is very light on lore. You think?
Yeah, a little bit. There's only a handful of pages really on kind of like the past and a lot of that stuff before it starts breaking down into...
And the origins. And I mean, the origins is really half of one page. Well, most of one page.
Yeah.
And, then they go into the fall of Grimnir and the magma holes. The magma holes is kind of an interesting expansion on the thing, but then that really launches right into the lodges, which I think is the big key thing in this book is the lodges.
Yeah.
Being fleshed out and made into something that has benefits and drawbacks.
Instead of just paint schemes.
Yeah. So, but again, I mean, we were talking about this earlier. I get the feeling that I don't think they want to have a cohesive lore for the Duardin. And again, we talked about on the last one, maybe they're waiting to have, some big figure come in and become the leader of the dwarves.
Yeah.
And honestly, that might shoehorn them into, let's say Grungni comes out of his retirement.
Self-imposed exile.
Yeah, and he says, all right, all dwarves follow me. Here's what's happening. Well, that would kind of limit what they could do with them going forward.
Well, there is a bit that talks about Grungni coming back. And let's see. I'll actually read the little segment here.
Okay.
It says, the Master Maker. Rumors of Grungni's return spread throughout the Duardin factions, from Fyreslayer lodges to the Caradhran's aerial domains, as well as the dispossessed and Ironwelt arsenal garrisons in the free cities of the mortal realms. It is said that the patriarch of the Duardin pantheon has returned from his self-imposed exile and founded a new stronghold, hidden beneath the mountains of Shaman. There are those who whisper that, in solitude, the Forge God is crafting something wondrous that will reunify his scattered children. Reports differ on what this could be, from a new Duardin bloodline to a great machine, or even a way to bring back the missing goddess of the hearth.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Whether such claims are true or merely the result of too much strong liquor and hidden hopes remains unknown. But I thought this was really interesting, especially the whole bit about bringing back Valea. That, to me, is awesome.
And that's a name that you haven't really heard in Sigmar
Ever. Yeah.
That was something that went with the end times and hasn't been seen
I think
since.
they've kind of mentioned, I think there might have been a bit early on about him being upset about still missing his sister? I think Valea is Grimnir's sister and is Grungni's sister and Grimnir's wife.
Yeah, I think that's the way it went.
Yeah, I think. I can't remember exactly. But it would be awesome to see Grungni go and just slap the crap out of Nagash and pull that power out of him and recreate. I would love that. That would be
that would be so... Especially now, I mean, it's a good time with the Soul Wars going on.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not Sigmar that's going to face him down this time. Maybe somebody else needs to whack his...
Well, the Duardin grudge with Nagash goes back further than the humans.
Yeah, it does. So.
Yeah, that would be...
That could be very, very cool. But, I mean, one thing that I did notice in this book, in the lore, it seems to me at least, that they're kind of reinforcing a little more of the Duardin oath. We'll keep an oath no matter what.
Yeah.
If we tell you we're going to do something, it's going to get done. And as long as you don't break your part of the bargain, we will live up to ours.
Right.
So I think that I'm not sure that I don't think it was emphasized as much in the last set of lore as it is now in this book. Yeah,
they kind of just seemed like cutthroat sneaks.
Yeah.
To me. And we touched on that when we did our Duardin thing. Both the KO and Fyreslayers just really seemed like shady people.
Underhanded and, looking for any way to twist the deal to their liking or break it all together because, some minor point of the contract wasn't held up. So, yeah, and I kind of liked in here how they talked about, a little bit on the formation of the Urgold and how they really keep that a secret, and they keep their ability to find it a secret from everyone.
Yeah.
Because they really want to get all of it. They really want to bring Grimnir back. So, I think that's kind of what unites them.
Yeah. One of the things that is new is there's, now that Quadrant Overlords are a thing.
Yeah.
Because they didn't exist back when the book first came out. There's a lot of intertwining of the two factions.
Yeah.
And mentioned there. And one of them that I really liked was a snippet. Duardrazol?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. So this is actually really cool. I'll read this one as well because it's just a short little paragraph. But it says, during the Battle of Blackstorm on the boundaries of Hammerhall, Aksha, the heroics of the Vostarg Lodge ensure not only victory, but also doubled pay from that city. During the week-long Goose Fest that follows, the Fyreslayers invite their Duarden cousins from the city to join in the festivities, and even extend the offer to an allied Karajan overlord's sky fleet. So much Magmalt ale flows that many songs are sung in the old language, but young Runeson Rolf lets the cups get to the better of him, divulging the truth of Urgold and Grimnir. To the Fyreslayers' surprise, such knowledge only gains them support and eventually leads to the Duardrazol, the unification talks which ripple throughout the Duarden populations of Azerheim to the sky ports of Shamon.
Yeah.
So that I thought was really cool because we've kind of talked about what if you put all the Duarden in one book or something like that. And this kind of hints that that's a possibility.
Yes. I got a lot more good feels out of reading this book than I did the last one. I actually like the Duarden again, whereas before the last time I thought they were just kind of, mercenaries, gun-totens for hire, and they're just looking for the Urgol wherever they can find it and screw you. Now it seems like they got a lot more of they're a lot more like, I don't want to say, they're a little old school. They're a little, we'll do all this stuff, but we also have the stuff we want to do.
Right.
But, if we tell you we're going to hook you up, we're going to hook you up. And
this book also kind of reminds me of the 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy dwarf book, where it has like hints of hope.
Yeah.
Instead of like the dwarves are on their last leg and they're going to all die and, we're just going to repeat that narrative for 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
This one seems like it has, like the Duarden are actually on an upswing a little bit, which is nice. It's always cool to see, fine if you want to read like the Tzeentch book and there's battles in there where the Tzeentch just steamroll Duarden. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because it's the Tzeentch book.
Sure.
Right. But it always sucked when you would read the dwarf book and it's like, you're still losing the battles in your own book.
Yeah, in your book. Like, and then we got steamrolled by the...
Yeah, it's like, Skaven went again. Yay. But it definitely feels like there's some hopeful bits in this.
Yeah.
Especially with like the whole Grundy thing potentially coming back and the unification of the Duarden, stuff like that is really cool.
What's really kind of interesting in this book is they have a whole 2 pages, almost 3 pages of the Soul Wars and how they're reacting to that whole thing. And it's like, gee, look what happened again. Oh, yeah, we've never seen that before.
Yeah.
But what's funny is they really never have seen that before because honestly, these new Duarden haven't seen all of Nagash's foibles in the past.
Right.
That was the old dwarves that saw all that.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that racial memory is still there and they still remember, yeah, this guy is just
he's a joke.
We gotta
Clown.
thump him.
Clown with a big hat.
Biggest hat. But, I like that section of it and that legacy of the lodges. I kind of like the way they intertwined.
Yeah.
I don't want to say retcon because it's not.
Right.
This is just a rewrite in the current version, but how they thread the story through the different lodges and make them all seem like, yeah, we knew that. We knew that stuff was going on. Hey, we're part of this too. So Yeah. I would say it was an overall serious boon and an increase and a good lore expansion for the Fyreslayers and the Duarden altogether. But it still feels light. I think they're holding back. I don't think they're not doing it, not putting it out there. I think they've put a whole bunch of threads and they're going to tug on one of them one of these days. And there's going to be a big storyline for these guys.
Yeah.
I hope, and it'll probably be in a fiction book. Somebody will write the book, maybe not in the game. Again, I think if you united everybody under a single leader, now you're sort of limited into what you can do with them in the Mortal Realms.
Well, I don't know. You got a lot of followers of Sigmar that kind of go about doing their own thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, one of the things that I mentioned before we started recording was, you drop this book, it kind of lays a little bit of the groundwork for something like we were talking about.
The unification, yeah.
Yeah, and then in about maybe like 6 months or so, you redo the KO book and get that thing caught up. And it furthers that narrative a bit. And then sometime next year, maybe around this time, you drop another starter box similar to this new Loon Curse or Blight War or
any
Soul
of the big
Wars,
campaign boxes.
right? And release that next to, I don't know, like a Dispossessed or a unified Duarden book with a couple new models and everything, and you make Duarden like a big feature of the campaign and the narrative, and they fight against, I don't know, Beastclaw Raiders or something.
Maybe it's going to be like that'll be one-sided.
Yeah.
Maybe it will be, maybe the destruction rollout will be destruction against Duarden.
Some old school stuff in there. Yeah. That'd be pretty cool.
Think about it. Destruction would run smack dab into Duarden all the time. I mean...
Yeah, I do have to say, though, because, like, the dwarves versus orcs thing is, I think that's such a holdover from the Tolkien-inspired Warhammer Fantasy thing. And I think one of the big things in Warhammer Fantasy that they never really expanded on was how much dwarves hated chaos. Yeah. And, like, how they constantly fought each other. And instead it was always, the Empire struggling against against chaos, and then also the elves. Right. So it always felt like dwarves didn't really get the acknowledgement they deserved for being those guys that were constantly fighting against chaos. And even the undead too. It was always orcs and goblins it was always orcs and goblins that they were fighting against. So it might be kind of cool to see them go back to how much Duarden throw down against chaos. They talk about it, especially with the KO book, the KO constantly fighting chaos. So maybe they could continue that narrative and we'll see some new cool thing for chaos as well as Duarden. I don't know. That's a possibility.
There's all kinds of
what ifs.
Like I said, this book leaves so many strings for them to pull. Yeah. They can go anywhere, and, where I think, like I said, the last book, I kind of read it and I just did not have a good, happy feels about the Fyreslayers I actually had like zero interest in whether they lived or died. Yeah. Because they just seemed like, these are just, this is a Chaos Warband that just is little and wears orange hair. Wow, cool. Yay. Yeah. But now this book actually, like you said, there's a story here. They have goals. They have a purpose. They have things that they're after and want to do. Right. And they're not painted in such a mercenary light. They have a reason for their mercenary ways. They have a reason. I mean, they shut their doors to everyone, including their own kin during the chaos, the time of chaos. And there's repercussions for that, Now the KO are almost a sundered race from them. They don't really look at themselves as brothers as much as they look on each other as distant cousins. Right. So, and again, that gives them a string to pull, Maybe somebody's going to come along and go, no, No, you idiots in the clouds. Get down here. Now, look, you're both the same. Shut up.
Yep.
I have a lot of hope for him now.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not going to build a Fyreslayer army, though.
Of course you're not, Bill.
Would be the rest of my life to paint just the Volkite Berserkers I'd need.
Says the guy with 600 Night Haunt models sitting behind him.
Yeah, but those are different.
Oh, okay.
That's like, I dip it in Tyler Mengel's ectoplasm and boom, they're done.
Sure.
So
And once you get tired of painting all that greenish, bluish green,
yeah,
you'll want to start
switch
painting
to orange.
flesh and orange.
You're
Yep.
so right.
Just saying. Just
Because I
saying.
did buy the Magmic Innovations and the Forge, just in case.
Just in case. Did you get the War Scroll cards too?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, you bought the one-click bundle. So
Yeah.
Of course you got it all.
Yeah.
Because you're going to do the army.
Yeah.
Oh, Bill.
Damn it.
Oh, Bill.
Well, like I said in the chat today, I'm not doing Slanesh. That's one thing.
Did you buy all the stuff for it? Oh, Bill.
I bought the Battle Tome because we have to have it to review. That was it. I think that's all
Yeah,
I
you
bought.
could have just got the digital copy through your phone.
It's hard for me to mark up, because I always buy it in the app.
Okay.
And of course,
Yeah.
that one, if you breathe wrong, it closes the book. So
Right.
you certainly can't highlight anything. So
Right.
I need something I can mark up.
Okay.
And I didn't buy the collector's edition this time. So
Okay.
I can actually mark it up.
All right.
Quit looking at me like that.
I was so proud of you through the Daughters of Cain and Idnath Deepkin phase there. And then you caved and bought Daughters of Cain and Idnath Deepkin.
I didn't buy. No, the wife bought Idnath Deepkin.
Oh, we're going to blame it on the wife.
Do you see any models in here for Idnath Deepkin? I'll tell you. No, you do not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not about to go digging through your mountains of shrink wrap here, but
I will admit to a grudging kind of, I like the Daughters of Cain. They're cool.
yeah.
And if Chuck likes them, they must be good. So.
Right.
And they just won, South Coast GT.
Oh, you're doing a Daughters of Cain army, aren't you?
No, not yet.
You meta chaser.
Yeah, that's me, Mr. Meta Chaser. I'm still in the Night Haunt meta, so
Yo.
I'm like months behind the bus here.
Yep.
So, yeah, so
Good times.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
times.
it's the best part of this hobby is the, I'll do this. Okay, now I'm just going to get rid of all that stuff and get this. So,
Yep.
and we all do it. So
Yeah.
I don't feel bad. I got to finish my Nurgle,
Mm-hmm.
which will never be finished because there's so much cool stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And finish my Night Haunt. Again, never finished.
Right.
So, but luckily, the Escalation League at the store is forcing me to do more things. So,
Yep.
I got my first week's stuff painted and scored. So, I have to do my second week's stuff by this Friday.
Did you play any games?
No, I did not get a game in.
Oh, Bill.
Well, the reason I didn't get a game in was my first week was Lady Olinder. And that's not much of a game. I mean, literally, she is, 240 points out of the 250 points. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't even bring a single chain rasp.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I'll play a game at the 500 level because that's what we played up at Randy Fest. Was the first game was 500,
Right.
and that was a decent game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
At least I'll have some troops on the board. So are we about done?
Yeah. I don't think we really have a lot else to
No.
talk about.
Nope.
Maybe our next show we can talk about the progression. Yeah, words are hard. The progression of Slanesh.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
might be fun to talk about some of the more narrative, lower aspects of that book.
I'm telling you, the lore is. Did you get a chance to watch the Twitch TV stream?
I have not watched
Okay.
the Twitch in like a year and a half.
Wow.
And I still pay for it every month.
Good.
Yeah,
Supportive of you.
I know.
And plus you're not wearing out any of the electrons, so that's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saving the planet.
So one video at a time.
Yep.
Well, anyway, Ben talks about how, Slanesh is not freed. He's still captured. But yeah, it is a tricky little minx.
Right.
So, Marathi is bleeding off way more than she's entitled to.
Yeah.
So she's destabilizing the whole thing, which I love her for. But every time one of the 66 chains, when Slanesh breaks one of them, he immediately replaces it with one of his own making, an illusionary or, one that he made so that whenever Tyrion or Teclis or Marathi come in and, make sure he's all under chains, they're like, oh, yep, everything's good. And they walk away and go, we've got a gun in our pocket. Yeah. No, you're about to get female dog slapped really hard.
Whoa,
yeah.
Boy.
And I honestly hope Tyrion, Teclis, and Marathi are in the room when Slaanesh goes, oh, I'm sorry. Did you think these were real? Oh, you're bad. And just proceeds to...
you know what that means for us?
Yeah.
It means Tyrion armies.
Yeah.
Malarian armies.
Malarian armies.
Yes, that's what I'm hyped for.
I'll tell you, it's again, they're teasing this stuff out there and getting the hype train going, and it's a matter of time now. He's breaking those chains. He's breaking the chains. She's gonna blast out of there in a blaze of glory one of these days, and boy, is he gonna have a case of the butt hurts with those people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Bad feels all over.
Oh, yeah.
This is the beauty of having a storyline that you can move forward.
Oh, yeah. In a big, big way.
Yep.
Although what really kills me is the return of Slaanesh to Sigmar is super detailed. It's really fleshed out. It's really developed. And it's going to be, no matter how they run it, it's going to be an amazing story.
Yeah.
But there's no parallel in 40K.
Yeah, which is really interesting. In fact, they've kind of backed away from a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because back in the old Warhammer Fantasy days, it was always when the demons dropped, it was for both systems.
That's right. And this time it's an Age of Sigmar Demons of, and I haven't.
But they got to put that keeper in 40K.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's already rules for a keeper, but there's not rules for the special character.
Right. So it's got to be coming. It has to be coming down the pipe.
Get an Emperor's Children's book?
I think so.
Huh.
I'm reasonably sure. The only question I have is the Emperor's Children book taking a little bit longer to do because of any retakes, relooks at the Space Marine book and the recently dropped Chaos Space Marine book?
I don't know.
Is there something there that's gonna, are they having to delay it because of that? Because they always love to drop these things for both systems at the same time.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, there's nothing for the 40K guys in this release. So maybe next week or the week not next week, but the week after is going to be, at some point 40K Slaanesh has got to get their treatment. Yeah. They have to get their goodies. Because you can't look at that keeper and go, yeah, that's good, but...
Right. Well, and not just the keeper, because again... The keeper stats are already there in 40K.
Yeah.
It's all the other character models that came out.
Yeah. Well, the keeper could use an update, too. If you're going to have a model that good, it should have rules that reflect. Yeah, that's true. It's not bad in 40K, but it ain't that model.
Yeah.
It'd be like...
Especially that special character.
I was going to say, it'd be like running Trump with Jimmy Carter's rules.
Oh, Bill.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Bill. You know you love Jimmy.
I was just making it a little funny.
Yep.
So...
Old Jay Cotta.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? He's the best ex-president we've ever had. I'm serious. His president, you can think what you want about his presidency, but as far as after he left the office, that man's amazing. He is absolutely an inspiration.
Yeah.
I don't care what side you're on. He's amazing.
Building houses at 95 years old or whatever he's at. Yeah.
So, anyway,
yeah.
That's for our other podcast, which hasn't gotten off the ground yet, but
Not
will.
Yet.
It will.
I am capitalism, and so can you.
Yep. Oh, this one's going to be fun.
Yep.
So, anyway, going to wrap it up. Anything else, sir?
I think that does it. I think that's a show.
If you would like to get in touch with us, you can reach us on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/rollingbadpodcast, all one word. Our Patreon page is at www.patreon.com/rollingbadpodcast, again, all one word. The Twitter account for the show is at rolling_bad, and our individual Twitter accounts are, for me, at Bill Castello, Castello, and for Ryan, he is at RT Gamer. All of our guests on the show will have their contact information in the show notes, and any products that we mention will also be similarly placed in the show notes. The music for the show is used courtesy of Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com and used under the Creative Commons license.